it's very important that you understand that it is irrational to deny the undeniable. And that's what I want to get across to you today. I prefer to live in the world of reality, even though at times it may be very difficult. Ladies and gentlemen, gents, everybody out in the audience, welcome on into the Blue Collar Psychiatrist videos, coming to you from the magnificent Aventura Studios. What is our subject today? Today we're going to talk about denying the undeniable. Denying the undeniable. Now, some of you may have disagreements with this list of undeniables, but nevertheless, I'm the one that's doing these videos. If you want to make videos yourself, you can go ahead and do it. But while you're here, you're going to listen to what my opinions are. Agreed or not agreed? The first on the list is age. How many times do we hear the same nonsense? Age is just a number. Well, that's not true. That's a bunch of BS. If age were just a number, I would be able to do the things I could do before. I would be as strong athletically as I once was. I would have the same body as I once did. I would be able to have the energy that I once did. I would be able to do a lot of things. But the problem is that this is a falsehood. Age is not just a number. It's not something that we have to be focused on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying just to flip it off and saying age is just a number does not do justice to the reality of it. It is undeniable that age has its effect, usually deleterious on us, unless it's for lessons learned. And in that sense, age can bring wisdom, as we have heard before. But in general, age is not just a number, it's more than that. And I think I have talked about this in the past, and we know that I just don't feel that this is the case. I'm sorry, I just don't think it. It's just a way of getting rid of somebody when they tell you that's their birthday and how old are you. Well, age is just a number. Just a way of just saying, don't bother me. That's the way I look at it. There's no discussion because they can't deal with their own mortality. That's the problem. Now, there are other things too that I think are undeniable. It is undeniable that there are certain things that go on in the dating world that we don't want to talk about. But we're going to talk about it right here and right now. In dating, there are two issues that are almost verboten. We like to think that, oh, you know, this person is nice and that one's nice and that's but no, there's more than that. There is the undercurrent of two things: physical appearance and money. And here's how it goes as far as my experience has been and that of other people to whom I've spoken. Women who are very attractive can hold out for the highest price. And what I mean by that is they can hold out for the man that has the most money. Now, of course, we just don't want to say that they're going to marry just somebody just for money. There has to be some compatibility. But that's often the case. Money or potential to make money is what they may hold out for. How many times do we see in a football game, let's say a college football game, and why is it always that the quarterback has a very attractive girlfriend? Why is that? Is it just by chance? I don't think so. I don't think so. So it could be money or it could be notoriety, whatever it might be. But this obviously is important to some women. Despite this, the women's movement that we've heard about and learned about over the last several years, that hasn't changed. Also, men who are higher up on the chain will look for, like men who are men of means and wealth, will look for a very attractive woman. Did you ever notice why oftentimes these offspring of the attractive woman and the well-to-do man are very attractive, at least physically, looking kids? Not by accident. That's just the way it is. So the cycle perpetuates itself. They will generally have kids who are nice looking and maybe have the wherewithal to make money, and the cycle just continues to go on and on. And so that's undeniable. As far as my vision of what's going on in the world, in the dating world, what the major factors are, not spoken about that often, but they are there. Believe me when I tell you, those factors are in play, and they are in play in a big way. Now, I don't want to leave anything out here. How about we hear the New Age folks say to us, well, we're all the same and we're all equal. No, we're not all equal. We don't. I'll tell you what, if you think that we're all equal, as I before had said to you in a previous video, let me take you to a mall, let's say during the weekend, and let's look around at the various people. Do they look alike? They don't look alike. Of course not. It's silly to say we're all the same. You ask a teacher, are all your students the same? No, they're not all the same. He or she will tell you some are just brighter than others intellectually, some are more outgoing than others, some are taller, some are shorter, some are fatter, some are weaker, some are stronger. It runs the gamut. We are not all the same. Now, we would like to think that we are equal in terms of the law. But again, we can look at it this way, that a person of means is going to be able to afford a better lawyer than a person who is of average means. I mean, that's just the way it is. So even that can come into question as well. Then we have the idea of ignoring the reality of the finality of life, ignoring mortality. People don't want to talk about it. They don't want to prepare for their own death. They don't want to... Sigmund Freud, the famed psychoanalyst, said, the ego cannot conceive of its own non-existence. And I think that's very, very true, because how can we conceive of our not even being here? It's almost impossible to do so. In fact, I think it is impossible. And so we live as though we're going to live forever. Well, that's living in denial. And when we have to realize that life and time on this earth is finite, and we've got to be able to do what we need to do, always being aware of the passage of, you got it, time, and do what we find to be the most consistent with our own internal system of thinking and our own values. We have to live a life of our own values. We can't control the fact that time on this earth is finite, but what we can control is to live in sync with our own core values of life. That's what we have to do. And there are many other things that people just go off half-cocked and say, well, you know, this is the case, or they don't want to talk about different things in life. For example, there's one other thing that I have here, and that is hard work versus smart work. There are people we have known who are what we call alpha personalities. These are people who have very tremendous strength, tremendous ways of dealing with other people. They have just seem like they have an innate business savvy. And you can work your tail off, and that person who has that alpha trait can work in terms of time much less than you, but can get a lot more done and can make a hell of a lot more money than you. We're not all the same. You have seen it. I know you have. You can see it even in students as they go through school, and then even in the business world, of course, is where you're going to see it the most. Because to deny that is to deny reality. There are just certain people who have that knack for business, who know how to deal with money and know how to start businesses and make them successful. And there are other people who just don't have that degree of success in terms of the business world. So ladies and gentlemen, it's very important that you understand that it is irrational to deny the undeniable. And that's what I want to get across to you today. I prefer to live in the world of reality, even though at times it may be very difficult. Even though at times it may be very much of a strain and something that we don't want to deal with, but we still have to deal with it because it's part of life. We've got to manage our lives in such a way as to be livable, shall I say. And so this is it. So again, the lesson here is not to deny the undeniable. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, I remind you, drink and drink abundantly from the fountain of life. See you next time. Hold it, 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 hold it. I advise you to review my previous video, the time of your life. Life has to be measured against the time that we're on this earth, which remains unknown to all of us until, oftentimes, till the very end. See you next time!